So over the past couple of years, open data has become much more relevant, much more important. And some of the key drivers are that citizens are demanding their municipalities to be more transparent, to share data about what's going on. You know, the perspective is you're a public entity, we're taxpayers, we want to know what sort of information you're collecting about us, what sort of information is going on, what sort of information is not only being collected about the citizen, but about the services being delivered to the citizens. So there's been a couple companies out there that have been taking kind of the lead, if you will, in helping craft these open data platforms to help capture all the raw data and put it in an information in a format that's digestible for the citizens. It's one thing to just take raw files and volumes of data and throw it out there on some sort of public website. It's another thing to codify it, to stratify it, to clean it, and then put it out on the website. The big benefit of that is, there's a couple huge benefits. Number one is when a citizen is making an information request, in the past, they typically have to file some sort of Freedom of Information Act form, deal with the clerk's office. It's a very long, laborious process. Now with municipalities that have these rich open data portals out there, what happens is when somebody calls up for an information request, they just say, here's the address for the portal, and here's where I recommend you look at. These are the 3 or 4 data sets that probably would contain the data that you're looking for. So a huge benefit is it saves the municipality a significant amount of money in processing these requests, and it, more importantly, kind of empowers the citizen to find out the information that they're looking for. Another huge benefit is taking the data and creating connections between the data. So one thing, a really good example that I did some work with in the city of Chicago is when they started putting the data out there, they noticed some connections between the data. They saw addresses that had missed garbage pickups, and they saw addresses that had potholes in the alley. In the city of Chicago, the garbage pickup, you typically send the trucks through the alley, not through the street. So they started looking at the data around those 2 items, and then they cross-referenced it with animal control data, such as the prevalence of rats, if you will, in the alley. And one thing that they noticed is the incidence of reports to animal control about rats in the alley was much higher in residential areas where garbage was not being picked up in a timely fashion and there was standing water because of the potholes. This connection would not have been made if in fact the data wasn't put out there and people could have the opportunity to analyze it. The benefit to the city of Chicago, they were more proactive in filling potholes and collecting garbage, and the benefit of that is it really remediated this rat problem that was a huge issue for the municipalities, for the people living in those areas.